In this unit, we will start by learning the basic design elements such as format and composition. Once we understand these concepts, we'll go through one of my labels and we'll see those elements in application. We'll start with format, as we as designers, we need to understand first the dimensions of our canvas, and this is called format. Format, as we know them, are canvases, and our canvases really are related to dimension. On one side, we have dimensions for print, that are inches, and on the other hand, we have dimensions for the screen, that are pixels. Once we have those defined, the possibilities are endless. With that said, sometimes we have vertical formats and horizontal formats, and that's our orientation. Format is a universal concept, and you can see this apply in filmmaking. Filmmakers create different formats for us to, as viewers, to see through their windows. This is something that as designers we can learn from. In this example, we have two different formats. We have one that is A4, or mostly recognized as letter, and we have a different format that is a tablet format. In itself, we have orientation, which is vertical, and we have horizontal orientation. On screen, this is called widescreen. Now we'll see the differences between digital and print through some specifications. I'll start by print, and we'll have digital. The first thing is going to be measurement. This is going to be pixels, which in resolution is going to be PPI, which stands out for pixels per inch. This is going to be your net. Most of the times, these go to 72 PPIs. This means we have 72 pixels per inch. On this side, we're going to have inches for now. That is dots per inch, which is in that square, all the dots of the ink that we're going to go inside that inch. Dots is going to be related to the ink that goes inside that inch. On printing, what is happening is the dots are coming from the powder of the ink, which will fill inside this part in here what you're going to print. So in here we have starting by 150 and going higher in dots per inch. So these are your resolutions. On resolution, on print, the batteries go above 150, but on digital, most of the times you just stay with 72. So now in here, I'll explain about color formats. We have two different kinds of color modes. One is CMYK for print, and the other one is RGB for digital. These letters stands out for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and red, green, and blue. The combination of these three colors are going to be lights, and the combination of these four colors are going to be pigments. When you are starting off a project, it's important that you understand which is your format and which is the platform that this format is going to live in. If you go to print, then you'll know the specifications that you will have in here, and if you're going digital, then you'll know what you have here. In this class, we'll use both because we will start off the screen and then we'll go on screen. So you will see how I apply both. Now I'll show you an example about format. When you have different formats, you start seeing that in itself, it's already having something else to design in here. Imagine these are all different formats. If you see the shapes, it's kind of already informing you which of the elements you need to use. So for instance, on a vertical format like this, if you have the word, this is very rough, but you'll see that in here, this is kind of like a condensed font. And if you move all the way here, you might need something else that it feels a bit more regular. This is when design is based on shape and format. These 3 letters don't mean anything, I just pick them randomly. In these examples, you'll see that this format is a bit more narrow than this one, that is more square. And this is informing what we need to have on the design elements inside. In this case, these 3 letters. This one has been more narrow, is demanding that we have a vertical alignation on our text, and on this one that is more square, it feels right to have something that goes on a straight line. These different formats, from narrow to something more square, also giving us opportunities to understand and identify the elements that we need to have inside our formats. To give you an example of something a bit more drastic, if I have a condensed font here, and this might be a choice as well, you'll see that it's feeling a bit more space around it, or it feels a bit more condensed in here. In comparison of this one, we're having more standout on these 3 letters. Once you have selected your formats, this is just an example of what you could do as a designer. You don't need to be restricted by these choices. These are something that you as a designer will explore. This doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. When you have different formats from narrow to square and widescreen, you understand that the design is informed by the shape of the format too. In the next lesson, we'll learn about composition, which is how the elements in design work with the format harmoniously.